We are here at Digiton conference in Skopje, Macedonia, and with us is Erol Celebic, Solution Architect at Microsoft FastTrack. It's a pleasure having you here, Erol.
Thank you.
And thank you for two beautiful presentations here at the Digiton conference. Can you tell us something more about yourself, and can you tell us about FastTrack?
Yes, thank you. Hello everyone, my name is Erol Celebic. Like it was mentioned, I'm currently FastTrack Solution Architect at Microsoft, but I have been in this consulting business dynamics area for more than 20 years. I actually started by, when I was a student, my diploma work was creation of production module in ERP software, so already back then I knew that I'm going to do something in this area. And since then I have the goal to help projects to succeed, and by joining FastTrack, I really came to a team which has its goal and framework called Success by Design.
Thank you. Can you tell us what are the benefits of FastTrack for clients and for partners?
Mm-hmm. So maybe just to give a short intro to FastTrack itself. So there are different flavors of FastTrack. There is partner-led FastTrack and Microsoft-led FastTrack. FastTrack is a process where customer can be nominated, and it is free of charge guidance that Microsoft is providing. If it is partner-led FastTrack, then partner is kind of responsible for the FastTrack process, and Microsoft is helping, overviewing, overwatching major parts of the process itself. So the difference there is, I think, currently the limits are that if the project has more than $400,000 licenses per year, then they are able to be nominated for Microsoft-led FastTrack, and if it is below, then they can be nominated for partner-led FastTrack. The idea of FastTrack is to guide and follow during the implementation project, and give guidance on how things can be avoided, what we have seen as general as FastTrack as Microsoft through all the years having projects witnessed. Parts of the FastTrack process or any implementation, we have a starting point which we call solution blueprint review, and this is the starting point, and then we have a kind of last gate which is called go live readiness review. In between, the project is typically taking some deep dives. We are analyzing, we are discussing topics like integrations, test management, data migration, data management, all kind of topics which can occur and are important in this project. But the biggest and most important milestone is solution blueprint review.
Thank you. And while we are on the subject on the solution blueprint review, can you share with us some real-life examples of what are the common issues that raise some red flags, basically, which are potential risks for the implementation?
Yeah. So solution blueprint review is something which is typically conducted at the beginning of the project, where if the project is going 1 year, you are at the beginning of the project, or longer, you are at the beginning of the project, we are harvesting, getting some holistic view over all the topics, and the topics which are part of any project are project management, test management, application strategy, integration, intelligence strategy, data migration strategy, ALM, environment and capacity strategy, and so on. So all these kind of topics, and as you can imagine, not every project at the beginning has all these topics covered. So our idea is we are not looking into finalized solution and to give a grade saying like, well, you have done good or you have done bad. We want actually to be part of solutioning. And this is happening at the beginning. So when you are thinking, how is your integration landscape looking, then we want you to think about all potential topics which can help you define and make the right decision about integration and all mentions parts of the project itself.
But can you share some real life, let's say, bottlenecks or examples of issues that are most common, let's say, when you're doing that?
Yes, yes. let's say one of the typical cases is that when we ask at the solution blueprint review and everything which is driven by FastTrack, it is not a self-service kind of like you ask and then we provide or do for you. We are actually giving guidance on these topics. We want you to prepare the things. We are giving guidance on this one in terms of that we want the project team, and when we say project team, we are not distinguishing between partner and customer. We see all of them as a project team. We want them to prepare by us providing them templates. And even the idea of having to fill in some templates will give the project team an idea how good are we prepared. Because if in the templates you see topics, questions, which you have not thought about, then it will immediately light a bell telling you like you need to take care of this one before we can continue talking about these topics. And one of the very common example is that when we have in this template, we ask about volumina of data which is going to be managed by the new system. And typically we just get a list of entities. Even if it is integration, we already have a list of selected integration, synchronous, asynchronous, whatever. But the columns which says what are the volumes, what is your daily amount, what is your peak, is left empty. And on the question like how can you make the right decision if you don't know what are the numbers, the answer is mostly we have experience, we will do it later. But now you are in the process at the beginning where you are defining what will be your solution. Are you going to use middleware or not? And if you do a wrong decision now, then it will be very costly to correct it later. So our goal is to provide during all the process to give you the necessary information, necessary knowledge so that you can make a right decision. For example, if this volumina or these numbers are missing, then we would ask to fill in, or otherwise we will put it as an action to say like we don't accept you having decided on integration pattern if you don't have these numbers. Please write down these numbers and then we can double check if your assumption were right. But without these numbers, it is just looking into the miracle and hoping that you have done the right decision. And as we know, every project, it is not something which is cheap. It is not something like you go into the shop and buy something, and if it is not the right size, you bring it back or not, but it is not costly. Project, we are here talking about a lot of money in every project, and therefore it is necessary to make the right decision in right time.
Okay, thank you. These actions that are created basically in the system, they are recommendations that the partners and the clients, let's say, that they need to take, correct? What are they mandatory that they need to take? They need to act upon it, or what is the procedure? So what if the client or the partner that decide that they're not going to take action on your?
So we are not coming as somebody, like I said, who is giving grades, who is trying to influence in a way who don't want to be influenced. If FastTrack is there, then there is a nomination and there is a reasoning why this project should be part of FastTrack. Why? Because it can really be seen as something extraordinarily specific thing, because somebody like me, solution architect, is going to be part of this project. So I hope that when we are involved, we are over this topic, that we need to convince somebody that the guidance that we are giving are making sense. If, of course, we see that the guidance is not taken, because as I said at the beginning, it is always the issue when something is free of charge. People can misunderstand it. But our point is not to make or stop or give something bad to the project only because they're not following our guidance. It is really our guidance. Because we have, I had actually today a session around pattern and anti-pattern implementation projects. And even in my project that I have witnessed, I have seen things which normally if you discuss them, everybody would say, well, they are common sense, we should not do it. One example is in F&O, it is sometimes happening that during the implementation, all the users are granted system administrator rights. because it is very convenient, it is easy to set up, you don't need to worry in the early stages of the project which user rights and what role should this person have, so let's give him everything. But mostly this leads to the topic that, of course, security is like, when we talk about it, it is taken seriously, they will take all the measures and they will prepare the roles. But if you are not testing during all the implementation the roles, then it can happen, which has already happened, that, for example, a purchase order manager who should be able to create purchase orders because he's not working anything with warehousing, he has no rights on InventTrans. But we know that InventTrans is everywhere. So what happened in this case, they went live and he wanted to create a purchase order and he failed. But the error is not telling like you are failing because you don't have the right. They are failing because some processes could not succeed, and therefore the error is not meant to be this one. And after that you need to debug, you need to find out what is the cause, and after many hours or days you figured out, well, it is because of the right. So this was one example. So imagine if you have service accounts, batch jobs, which are just running, and only after days, weeks, months, you realize that something was not working. You cannot revert it. So therefore it is really important, and this is why we give this guidance, because we have witnessed, we have seen things failing, and therefore it is important to work on this one. And therefore, if a project is not accepting, or if they need a higher power to work on our points, then we have to ask a question: what is the benefit of FastTrack being there if they are not willing to listen to our advices?
Yes, correct. Can you tell us what is the success rates of project using the success by design approach and the project that are not using it? Do you have some notion, or is there some metrics there?
Yeah. So I mean, we don't have a statistic which is giving you one number or something telling, but what I can tell you, I mean, getting to the beginning of FastTrack, many years ago, FastTrack was actually built due to an initiative where Microsoft, whenever we were involved in escalations because something went wrong, if we get to the root what was wrong, they were simple things, like, for example, the topic with integrations missing values and therefore defining a wrong integration pattern, or assigning system administrator to everyone and therefore not testing it equally. And based on this one, we decided that we need to give it back all this knowledge that we are seeing, because every Dynamics project will at some moment, latest on the GLR, on the go live readiness, will pass through FastTrack. So we are doing our checks, but we know about every project, we know about every escalation. Therefore, we have a much broader view on the projects compared to anybody out there of the market. Even if you would take the biggest partner, he still has only the sub number of projects what we are seeing. So therefore, what we see and what we can say is that we don't want to evaluate things when they are already late. If from the beginning the project is following our guidance, then we can say that this project will be successful and on time. So if you think about it, about our approach, and if we, let's imagine this is a questionnaire from 300 questions, and if you are able to follow up all these 300 questions and we don't have any red topic, red flag or something warning, and everything is there, then I can guarantee you that the project will be successful.
Okay, thank you. And my last question will be, do you have any recommendations on how to utilize best the success by design approach?
Success by design, this is a good point. We call it framework, and based on this we have created a book. It is embedded also in the doc site. It's called Implementation Guide. If you look at it as a book, it is over 800 pages, where we have summarized all this experience, where everybody who is involved, not only in Dynamics projects, overall project implementation project, can gather information. For example, what is the difference between waterfall and agile or hybrid approach? Should I do a big bang or rolled out approach? You know, these questions which are always pointed at the beginning, or at some moment somebody has to take a decision. what is approached there. So success by design is really the summarization of all this one. We as a FastTrack, we are not only working in projects directly, but we are also evangelizing all this knowledge. And the most important or the most famous channel is our Tech Talks. So all the Tech Talks that are published are in some way related to FastTrack. In the most cases, they are even driven or prepared and done by FastTrack, but this is some initiative that we are doing. So the Tech Talk is a technical video which is around 1 hour where we take one topic and discuss it in detail. And it has two flavors. Either it is something which is coming out, which is new and we just want to populate it. Like I have done recently a Tech Talk on demand planning last November, and now this summer it was a deep dive into demand planning as a new feature, new capability. Or we are having Tech Talks around topics like integration pattern, where we see in projects, because we are involved so many projects, we see that we are talking every time about the same thing. So how can we multiply this knowledge and not go every time and repeat it? So therefore we do a Tech Talk like what are the integration pattern in a series so that everybody can consume. So to any topic that we are mentioning in our guidelines, in our workshops, in our projects when we are involved, everything has a link to a source, either Tech Talk or documentation. So because this is our goal, we don't want just to give this to one project and this succeed, we want it to make all the Dynamics projects succeed, but we're still limited, so we have to leverage this.
Okay, thank you, Erol. I want to thank you for your time, and it was a pleasure having you here at the conference.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Nice being here.